And let's let ourselves settle into the practice. Notice what's here and just open to the next 25 minutes or so, where we're going to connect with ourselves and connect with our larger sense of being. In addition to our body and breath and thoughts and experiences and memories, we all have a sense of something bigger, something that's not as limited as that, as important as that is, not to minimize it at all. And there is something that's bigger here too. So we let ourselves notice that sense of ourselves or our being or maybe our connectedness with other people, with ourselves, with the environment. We dial in. And notice how you're holding your body. Could you move a little bit to be more comfortable? Are you warm enough? Do you want to stretch a bit first before you settle into stillness? Notice what's happening in your body. And in a relaxation practice, we mostly work with softening the hard parts, the contracted parts. And sometimes what we miss is everything that's already relaxed. Or we focus on the pain in the body, but we forget about most of the body which isn't experiencing pain. One of the reasons that we go back and forth between noticing the whole body and noticing a part of the body is to help us to have that flexibility in our perception. And sometimes it's good to directly point to that too. What is it that's quite wonderful right now? In terms of our body, what is already relaxed or what's already relaxing, as we get more and more skilled with relaxing, it happens more quickly. And we have a baseline in our body that's more relaxed as well. We don't always have our shoulders up around our ears. We have more movement there, more openness. And then we tune in and realize we could soften a bit more. But it's not a disaster to start. Not most days, anyway. Notice your body, notice your breath. Take a few deeper breaths and let that kind of reverberate through your system. We have such a wonderful system, our nervous system, our brain, the messages that go around in the body through the gut, up to the heart, up to the brain and the head. We have a sense of perception, proprioception, where we know without having to look with our eyes what's going on with our body. We know where our body is located. And as you're settling into your body, you'll notice that the out breath is a more settling or softening part of the breath, and the in breath is the more nourishing part. We bring in the new energy as we breathe in, and we release stuff we don't need. as we breathe out, like the stale air, obviously. And also, we can release tightness or tension in our body. We could release thoughts that aren't serving us as a whole body experience. Notice your breath. And notice if you're holding your breath or if there's any hesitation. And as we soften in the body and soften the belly, our breath does get smoother. Take a few really deep breaths and long, slow exhalations. And notice what there is here to appreciate in your body and your breath. It's kind of really physical for the moment. What is here that you could enjoy right now? It might be that softness that comes into the shoulders and neck as you remember to let yourself settle and soften through the back of your body. There's a sense of relief of our nervous system as it settles. We go off duty, we're not as vigilant. We have more space to relax our body and enjoy the moment. And when we're working with our physical body, we could also express some appreciation. We could do that in two ways. One is we could appreciate what's working well, and one is that we could appreciate that our body's always trying to do its best. Our body is not working against us, even if it's not working well. Let's work with that for a few minutes. I appreciate this about my body, that it's working well. And just let all of that come to mind. Your eyesight, your digestion, the heart that pumps the blood through your body, whatever it might be. Thank you. Thank you for doing such a good job. Thank you for working so well. Or warm, sweet taste of chocolate on our tongue, or the breeze on our face, or the sun. We have a body that feels and perceives, and arms that hug, and legs that take us places. What would you thank your body for? And try to remain very focused in your body as you're expressing that appreciation. And for the parts of our body or the functioning of our body or the organs or whatever it is that's going on that's not working as well, thank you for doing your best. If you want, you could put a hand on that part of your body or bring your attention there and bathe it in appreciation. Our bodies struggle with such adverse conditions, and yet they still work as well as they can. We could appreciate the effort, the service. Thank you for doing the best you can. And we could include our nervous system in that. The primitive brain that's trying to warn us of danger, even when it's from the past, it's not now, but the intention is good. It's trying to protect us. The red alert or the yellow alert that goes on when we know in our conscious mind it's not really necessary. We're not really under any threat anymore. But we could appreciate the system itself. It's trying to protect us. So, to send some love to your nervous system, the whole mechanism of trying to get away from threat or fighting, freezing up, fawning, all of the ways that our system works to keep us safe. Appreciating that. And if we have a bit of an adversarial relationship with that, which would be quite understandable, maybe let that go a little bit to really see if we could reassure ourselves that it's not just the child anymore. It's not just the primitive brain, that we're here, we're present, we're healing, and that what used to be necessary in the past isn't always now. That there's an adult here connecting and taking some measures to keep ourselves safe, and that we could release some of the unhelpful activation in our system. Just let all of that be present for a moment. We're actually not in the danger now that we were when we were younger. We have all these wonderful ways of relaxing and supporting ourselves. We can do breathing practices and other practices to work with this. And what a blessing that is. We're not helpless anymore. And breathe that in. Notice your strength and resilience, your love and care. Let that in. And of course, our mind and our thoughts play a big part in all of this. And underneath the compulsive thinking and the catastrophic thinking and ruminating and the angry thoughts and fearful thoughts, all of that is this stillness that we so often don't have access to because everything else is too noisy. So let's start with the thoughts themselves. You could appreciate intention, the intention to keep us safe. When we worry or get obsessive about something, we're not trying to do ourselves harm, we're trying to keep ourselves safe. So we could appreciate the intention. Even as we're letting ourselves know, letting our mind know that that's not necessary and it's not helpful. We appreciate the good intention. And then begin to notice the silence that happens between thoughts. So as we're watching thoughts arise in the mind, they come in as images or words, moving pictures, still pictures. Some are very quiet, they're almost in the back of our attention. Others come in with a lot of clamor. It really gets us going. But there's not a constant stream of thought. There are gaps in between. So just as you're watching thought, notice as soon as it gets a little less intense or starts to stop, and notice that vast space and stillness. Sometimes thoughts arise in it. You might have the sense of quiet, and then along comes a thought, and it plays out in our mind, and then it settles, and then there's a bit more of a gap. Just like the sun when it goes behind a cloud, it doesn't disappear. Same with the stillness. A thought might come into the stillness, but notice the stillness or the space itself. Let's focus on that for a couple of minutes. Just on the space or the stillness between thoughts and that deep stillness that's not disturbed by thought. And sometimes our thoughts will get attracted, our mind will get attracted to thoughts, and that's okay. Notice that we could actually remain aware of the space and of the stillness, even as we check in with our body and notice the body and its sensations. Notice the movement of breath. As we relax our forehead and eyebrows and mouth and jaw, neck and shoulders down through our whole body, we're doing that in this space. The stillness is here too. Keep coming back to that never changes, that sense of our being, our presence. Even as we know our body and we know our thoughts, attune to that sense of being. We're going to finish the practice in a moment. Set your intention that as you move through the day, you're going to come back to this, that stillness that permeates the whole space of our body mind. Just to notice for a breath or two as you're unwrapping presents or cooking a meal or feeling lonely or out for a walk or whatever it might be. Just to touch back into this.